It's a good day, Mr. Threat. It's a good day.
All right, so have we gotten an official word on this, or did it just kind of reappear?
So, do you remember a scant 24 hours ago when we were talking about email clients?
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I pinged some people over there, and
Hmm.
they told me coming. They actually said, hey, it's going to be real soon. So I kind of knew that this was coming, sort of.
Okay.
Not like I definitively knew at 3 a.m. this thing was going to drop.
Yeah, yeah.
But for those who are not familiar, my beloved email app, Newton, it's funny. This is looks like a Surface Studio, but I don't know, they mocked it up or whatever. This is an old image.
Yeah.
Is back from the dead, exactly as it was. Although they didn't. So I'm waiting to see how much they're going to charge for this, and I will happily pay it.
As of it was the same price, wasn't it? Like $49.
Well, if you remember, right before Newton went down the toilet,
Oh.
it was $100 for the year.
Oh.
Remember?
Yeah, they can't do that. I mean,
No.
the thing I showed you, Postbox or whatever it's called,
Yeah.
Postbox
or whatever.
Yeah,
Doesn't
is
matter.
$40
Yep.
lifetime, any number of machines. I think it's not an inexpensive purchase necessarily, but I mean, $100, it's tough. And is
Well,
that
it's $100
lifetime?
per year, at least it
Oh,
was.
yeah,
So
that's
now,
no, that's not.
so what they
that's not-
currently have it listed as is $50 for the year.
Okay.
Now, if I remember correctly, last time they had this. Now it was under different management, if you will.
Yeah.
Like 24 hours before your thing expired, they sent you a 20% off coupon. So I'm waiting, but I will pay the $50. I don't care.
I mean, are you prorated for the time that there was off?
You got refunds. They
Oh,
refunded.
so you already
everybody.
refunded. Oh, that's actually pretty unusual, don't you think?
Yeah.
Companies kind of, well, I guess they didn't really go out of business. Maybe that was why they did it. But
Yeah. So
okay.
So it's back. It works. I logged in. I created my account. I downloaded it on PC. I deleted every other email app that I had on my PC.
Yeah.
And for people who don't understand why I like this app so much, how it works, and I don't think Acompli or Outlook.com works in this fashion anymore, which is what kills me, is what you do is all your email goes to their servers, essentially. Well, it's Essential servers now. There's an intermediary server that sits between, let's say, your Google inbox and your end device. So your email goes in there, and they can do all fancy stuff with it. They have better spam protection. They have better whatever. But the nicest stinking thing is if you have 75 different computers, when you delete an email from your phone, one of the computers, it all is instantly gone from every other machine. And I don't know why platforms can't do this, but it works wonderfully well.
Okay. So I can explain in very vague terms why you don't see that in Outlook Mobile, for example. But what you said earlier is correct. Acompli used to have all the email piped through their server.
Yep.
For for spam purposes and so forth. And I think for some of the other intelligent feature type things, I don't remember exactly what it was. Like I know they didn't have, well, maybe they did. I don't think they had focused inbox, but you could kind of imagine where they might do it for those purposes too. And Microsoft had to get rid of that because they had corporate customers who were like, we cannot use this if you're going to take our private corporate email, put it on your servers, and then put it back. You can't, you can't do that. But as far as the third-party servicing goes, if you think about how email is connected in Outlook Mobile, it's IMAP or POP, right? And so typically IMAP. IMAP is not horrible, but I don't remember any more push-pull, but it has. I believe you're still pulling email, and I think that's the reason. There's some kind of a synchronization timeline that occurs, and I know in Postbox, for example, it's the one thing about this client which I think is a little weird. Most email clients will support a collect email as soon as it arrives kind of feature, which is pull, or which I guess is actually push technically. But syncing back changes like archiving an email, deleting an email, will typically take several seconds or something, which for most people is not a huge issue. But yeah, you can see that in the real world by looking at email in Outlook Mobile, doing whatever you do to, say you archive 5 messages and then you turn to the web client, load it, and those messages are still sitting there. In 30 seconds, they'll be gone, or whatever the sync time frame is. But yes, there is a pause. And so I wonder, I wonder what they do to overcome that. I don't know.
Everybody just use Newton and we just move on with life. But it is
Well,
back.
but for you personally, like if your accounts are basically like if you were just using Gmail,
Mhm.
I don't like the Gmail client personally, but using either Gmail or Inbox on the web or on mobile, you would see that immediate, um,
Mhm.
performance, right? So if you deleted it from mobile and then looked at the web, it's gone. Like one way you can get around it is just to use one account,
Yeah.
and use their client, I guess.
But I will tell you that I like the UI of Newton, and I will think. I'm scrooging around on their website. They actually deleted the blog post that says, "Hey, we're going out of we're shutting it down." So I have confidence that this is going to be hanging around. Hopefully, right up until Essential, the parent company that now owns Newton, runs out of business, and then I'm right back to where I started. But until then, I will. Yeah.
I wonder if, assuming I don't wonder why they bought it for one thing. I mean, I don't quite understand it. I guess there's some kind of theory that Essential is moving past hardware into other things or something.
Well, I think it's probably fair to say that hardware thing didn't work out so well.
Yeah, but I mean, but there are fans of that phone for sure,
Mhm.
and I wonder if there is any rumor or belief that they might still release new hardware, right? Like later, at some point. I don't know. Anyway, it's good it's back. I mean,
It's very good. This is good. This is good. You know what else is good? This is actually really surprising. Did you see this yesterday? I should probably write something up. Well, I got another thing to write up anyways. But this Apex Legends game that dropped?
No, I saw you mentioned it on Twitter. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. So for those who aren't familiar, there's a new game out, free to play. Which there is no such thing as a free lunch, and there is no such thing as a free to play game. But it is free to play. It's called Apex Legends. It's from Respawn, which is now I think owned by EA or whatever. It's the people that made Titanfall made this game. It's a battle royale game, and it's pretty good. The thing is, this game is exceptionally well polished for just kind of coming out of stealth. There was no teasers or anything. It just kind of dropped.
Real quick, is it PC only or is it
No. PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. It's on all the platforms. It's again, you can go grab it for free. It's sort of a mix between Fortnite and maybe Black Ops. For example, if you like the Call of Duty Black Ops Battle Royale mode, you will absolutely like this game because it is that style of play, but much more polished. There's less kind of calamity going on, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of complexity to it, but it's not like.
Is there building, Brad? Just tell me if I have to build anything.
No building.
I hate building things.
Nope. It's a first-person shooter. At first, I didn't love it.
Are they? Let's see. Oh,
at first, I didn't love it because I really like PUBG. But I'll tell you, I played it a bunch again this morning, and it's growing on me. It's the thing is I'm so jaded by how poorly PUBG runs and plays and everything else. When you go to a very well polished game, it's incredible. And so
I don't understand why PUBG doesn't run better. Do you know what engine they use? It seems odd that it wouldn't work better.
They use a dump truck for an engine. I don't know what they use. It's based off of Arma 2, whatever the engine Arma uses, which is a PC game, which is a very complex first-person shooter, which has a lot of fans. And I know a lot of people that like that. But I think they took the wrong engine and tried to adapt it to this game. And it runs okay. But then when you pick up something like Apex, which quite literally came out at like 3 p.m. yesterday, and it just works phenomenally well for a day one game. And then you go back and look at PUBG, which has been out for 14 months,
year and a half,
and it's So I don't know. Again, it's
a big
free.
game. 25 gigs, by the way.
Yeah, but wait till you play it.
Well, I am going to wait. It's going to take.
Oh yeah, you are going to wait. I do recommend that you go through the training and the tutorial because it took me. Yeah. I would say it probably took me about 4 games to figure out everything because there's different weapons, there's different armor and all that stuff, and to figure out how it all fits together. But the gunplay is very smooth. It's relatively quick, like the battles. But I don't know. Me and a couple buddies played it for a while last night, and after we all got done, we're like, for this game being free, it's really well done. And they've already... Now, granted, let's see if they stick to these promises. In theory, you could play this game for free forever. They said there's going to be no what is referred to as pay to win, which means they said every beginning of every game, everyone will start at the same level. You can't buy better weapons or anything else. It's cosmetic only addition. So there,
there's an element to that pay to win stuff in Call of Duty now that I can't claim to completely understand.
Yeah.
And it really bothers me. And I'm not going to even go look at what they call it. It doesn't matter. But when my son was home over the break, for the holidays, I was like, "Come here." I said, "Can we just sit here and look at this? I don't understand how it works. I still don't, and so it's not worth explaining or even trying to make me understand because I kind of don't care. But basically, you buy this, you pay, you earn some small amount of coins just playing the game, I guess. So I've been accruing them. And then you can also pay if you just want to get the stuff. And there's like a list of stuff that like something appears every day over some period of time. And most of it's nonsense. It's like decals and costumes and, whatever bullshit. Like, who cares? And then then there are guns, right? And the reason I wanted to look at it was because I completed all of the small machine guns, all of the submachine guns, whatever they're called, the assault rifles, the, whatever. There's like 4 or 5, whatever categories. I completed all of them. But then over time, more guns appeared in those categories, like 1 or 2 each.
Yeah.
So, and I can't select them, and he's like, "Oh, you got to go into this thing and you got to buy them basically." And I'm like, well, that is completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
I guess if you played it forever, I was able to buy, I didn't pay anything, but because I had accrued some number of whatever they call it, I was able to get 3 of the 3 guns, that I wanted as part of this giant package of other things.
Yeah.
And then I did the math on it, and I was like, I would have had to have spent something like $70 in real money to get those if I wanted to buy them. I've already paid $120 for this game.
Yeah.
Right? Because you get the game and then you get the season pass. That's extortion. Like, that's crazy. Now, in a game that's free like this, I know they're not doing it, but okay. Like, it's like an in-app purchase. Like, I get it. If you want to, you can make the argument, I'm not paying any more than it would have maybe for the game if I paid for it. Fine. But like to put something like that in a AAA retail game, that's reprehensible.
Yeah. And so the nice thing here, and we'll see, I might be biting my tongue here in a year when they completely screw this game over somehow trying to make more money.
Sure.
But because it's free and because it plays exceptionally well, like I honestly probably won't mind spending $60 on just random crap in the game because it's free. Like I'm a big believer that if you like it, support it. And so as long as they don't ever introduce mechanics that make like what you just said, where if you pay money, you get an advantage. I'm totally against that, but I'll buy stupid outfits or whatever if I'm going to play this game a bunch with my friends. Especially
that stuff's actually really big, by the way.
Yeah, no, it really is. But especially since I'm $0 invested up. I won't have any buyer's remorse until I spend over $60 because that's typically what you pay for a game.
We never talked about this. And let me see if I can find this. So last week when Microsoft announced their earnings, right, we were talking about how well it appeared that the Xbox business did. And at the time I said I hadn't had a chance to analyze, what they were talking about. But basically the hardware thing had kind of crashed. And the software was going gangbusters. I don't know if you saw this, but the only reason the software was that big was because of Fortnite. It's the only reason.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
There's literally a quote from their transcript from the post-earnings conference call where someone, I don't remember here, it could be Satya Nadella or Amy Hood, said that growth came almost exclusively from the continued strength from a single third-party game title. Right now, I've added a couple words to make it clearer what they were saying. I added the word single and the word game, but it is from a third-party title, meaning Fortnite, obviously. A game that, by the way, is not exclusive to the Xbox. So they had this, they rose gaming revenue overall 8%, but software and services jumped 30%, almost solely because of a game that has nothing to do with the console.
Yep, and we know it's not Minecraft because if it was Minecraft, they would say Minecraft because Microsoft owns
of course
Minecraft.
They would. Of course they would. Yeah, it's definitely not Minecraft.
Yeah, but speaking of Fortnite, I don't know if you saw, and this is why the game is making so much money. They put on a concert in like the world, and 10 million people showed up. 10 million.
Yeah, it's way bigger than Bud Bowl ever got. It's way bigger than Puppy Bowl ever got. I mean, these guys have figured out how to make money. They've turned this into an esports phenomenon. You know, it is so big that famous sports stars and dancers are suing them for stealing their dances. It's so big that there are real world things that are going on that are not games, that people are buying merchandise for this thing. Like, you'd have to go back to like Pac-Man Fever, or I'd have to kind of think, I don't even remember, to find a video game crossover that impacted general society as much as this game. You know, as big as things like Doom were. Yeah. I'm trying to think of games, Halo, whatever. As far as like impacting society, like normal people out in the world, there hasn't been a game this big, maybe ever, but you'd have to go back to the 1980s. Very long time. You'd have to go back that far.
The only one I can think of, but it doesn't. It's not even close. Was World of Warcraft? Well, it still is kind of massive, but I will argue that it doesn't impact the average consumer.
Right. Like my wife never would have known what Doom was, or Quake or whatever, other than the fact that I was doing it and I talked about it because I'm an idiot. Yep. She never has. I guarantee if I mentioned World of Warcraft, she'd look at you like you had no idea what you're talking about. But Fortnite, yeah, she knows. She wrote it. My wife wrote an article about Fortnite, but that's not why. It's out in the world. You know, we go to minor league baseball games and there are Fortnite dances up on the screen, like it's a thing. I don't know. The crossover here is amazing. Like, I think there are more people aware of Fortnite than are aware of some of the top 5 movies from last year. Or
I might even fall into that category.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. But you're a video game player, so maybe that's a little skewed. But
I don't know anything about movies, though. Like, that's
right, and neither does my wife. So my wife couldn't tell you if I said name one of the top 5 movies from last year, right? I guarantee you she'd come up with a complete blank. But if I said, tell me about like one of the big video games, she'd be like, oh, Fortnite. Yeah. And she knows nothing about video games. Like, couldn't care less.
So if you're on the fence, folks, I recommend giving Apex Legends a shot. I mean, it's free. You got nothing. Yeah. My only advice is play it. Give it at least 5 games. Now that's a considerable. That's maybe, well, I guess depending on where you drop, it could be an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Because that's about how long it took me to kind of figure things out, and then you just kind of start rolling with it. There's a couple things to know. There is no solo. You can't play by yourself. You're always in a squad. Right. But the thing that makes Apex really good is they have, I don't want to say mastered, but I think they've cracked the code on how to talk to other people you're playing with without actually having to talk to them. What I mean is they've mapped it so that on your right bumper. So like if you are across the map and you're an enemy, if I'm looking at you and I double tap right bumper, it highlights you on the map and says there's the enemy. If there's something in front of me and I tap it once, it says come get this object, and it'll say helmet, gun, ammo, or whatever. They've really figured out how you can play this game in a squad without actually having to do voice chat, and it works very, very well. That is the big difference here than other platforms.
I just heard a very strange sound. I will wait to see if it repeats before I go and investigate it, but it's a little weird. Anyway, hopefully it's not something in my house collapsing.
If we don't hear from Paul after today, we will know that it was a murder.
Yeah, something horrible happened. So based on what you just said, I will say one of the things I don't like about PUBG is this notion that there's some gigantic place and you just kind of wander around and hope you run into stuff. And stuff, it could involve other players that you need to kill. It could involve like random items that sometimes are in buildings or sometimes are, whatever. Hold on one second. Hey, Steph, come here for a second. I'm going to try a little. No, right there's good. Little impromptu Q&A. Could you name any of the top 5 movies from last year?
There were some movies from like the comic book movies, Marvel or something.
Very good. And can you name any of the top video games from last year? There you go. Thank you.
We couldn't hear on our end, but I'm assuming.
Okay, yeah. So what she said was, she goes, there were some, I think, Marvel comic things that were kind of big.
No,
I was
that's
like,
that is what I would have said. I said I would have honestly said that there are some comic book movies that came out last year that did very well.
and that's accurate. So that falls into the kind of general sphere of, and people are kind of vaguely aware. They may not know the titles, and God help you if you know the exact names of those movies. You're broken inside. But yeah, but Fortnite. No, seriously. I mean, give me a break. They're terrible, all of them. But the Fortnite thing is humongous.
Yeah.
And she said, I did write about it, but yes, but she had heard about it otherwise because Fortnite is out in the world everywhere. In fact, the reason she wrote about it probably was because she became aware of it. I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be, I don't know. I'm going to be curious to see how this works. They said they had over 1 million players within 24 hours, or not even 24 hours, whatever, before midnight. It's on the first day of availability.
It would have been faster if they could have downloaded it faster. It's like this thing is like 9% done. It's taking a long
really?
time.
See, mine downloaded really quick.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe the world has caught on. It's only going 60 megabit per second. It's slow. It's all right. I'll get there.
Yeah, You got anything else for today, Paul, before I go play more Apex?
Not really, but if you haven't looked, Brad, and anyone else, I posted a premium thing about some of the computers that I've owned and used over the years based on the fact that I've been scanning all these photos in. Have you seen this thing? It's kind of excellent, actually.
No, I haven't. I've actually been in meetings.
You should go take a look at that. It's pretty great. The other thing I just visually, because I've developed this, I'm going to talk about photo scanning every single day now because it's so huge for me. But
it's better than Hue lights.
Hue lights are solved. So it has now been, I did that fix, I want to say on Thursday night, right? So I probably mentioned it Friday. We were gone over the weekend, but when we got back, the lights had never changed because, obviously they would be red and green. They have not changed. They didn't change last night. I think that solved it. That tip where you go into settings and reset everything actually worked. Thank God, because I was going to do like a physical thing. But with regards to the photo, I just wanted to show this because this is kind of an interesting visual thing. At least to me. This right here, I don't know if you can see, it's too close. That's 1991.
Wow.
That's
also probably about $1,500 in photos, getting them paid to get them exposed or whatever.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, I mean, and I had, shelves of photo albums, right? Like many, and we're down to like one. I mean, granted, I have other photos to scan still, like in boxes and stuff, but like I made like tremendous headway here. It's pretty.
Yeah, you're in 1991. You've only got.
Well, I'm not going in some exact
years.
order. Well, but there's a whole a lot of the newer stuff is done, right? So there's this giant hole of unscanned photos that's like 90 through 93-ish. So I've done 88, 89, 90. Right, which was the year I got married. Anyway, it's just a lot of stuff.
I like your chair.
So,
I'm looking at the photo. You had a nice director's chair. That's good for I don't know how you sat in that for.
Some of the chairs are actually kind of amazing. Like it wasn't the chair I'm sitting in now. I got. We were in the first house in Dedham. Would have been 2000 maybe or 1999, probably 2000. So I've had this chair now for 18 years. It's like a Herman Miller Aeron chair, kind of the classic, internet startup chair. It's super high quality. It's lasted forever and it's fantastic. It's good for your back too. But I went through, sure enough, I went through a pathetic series of chairs. One of them is it's like a metal kitchen chair, just awful. But yeah, there's a lot of little doodads in there. I used to collect software, like at original shrink wrap versions of old versions of Windows and Office and Mac OS, OS2. Lots of old stuff. I had stuff I had kind of forgotten about. I call out a Dell digital media receiver that I had in the early 2000s. I don't remember what the deal with that was exactly, but it was a thing. I don't know. Various laptops and docking stations. I had one of those, Flower iMac things. Lots of computers.
Lots of computers over the time. All right. Well, that wraps it up for today, folks. We'll be back tomorrow on Wednesday. Have yourselves a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll catch you next time.